Today's presentation is Hydrating for Health, and I have Karen Richey of Purdue Extension, Marshall County with me today. The first question, Karen, is what's the importance of hydration?
Well, when you think about it, we're going into summertime. A lot of times we think more about hydration, but actually we should think about it all year round because regular physical activity and healthy diets really are important for any age as we grow. So, however, the body's basic need for water is often overlooked. It really is, resulting in what we refer to as dehydration. And that's a condition that occurs when you don't get enough water in your body to carry out the normal functions. And that what happens then is it drains your energy and it really makes you feel tired. So if you've ever felt like that, it's probably time to drink some water,
How much water should you drink every day, Karen?
That's an interesting question because it's not really a simple question to answer. Studies that have come from the Mayo Clinic have showed that varying recommendations over the years really are important. But your individual water needs basically depend on many factors: where you live, your environment, your overall health, and things like that. And so your age as well. So you have a lot of factors that enter into it, but yet a lot of people say, oh, this is how many you need. So there's no single formula that fits everyone, but knowing more about your own body's need for fluids will help estimate how much water you should drink each day.
What are the health benefits of water?
Well, water is your body's principal chemical component, and it makes up about 50 to 70% of your body weight. So your body depends on water to actually survive, and people a lot of times overlook the fact that how important that water is. Do you know the role of water in the human body? Let's tell the people some of those roles.
So what I've read so far, research has found that we can survive without food for 6 weeks. However, we can survive without water for only 1 week. So with water, it carries nutrients and oxygen throughout the body. It helps us convert food into energy. It regulates our body's temperature. It protects and cushions the walls and vital organs within our body. It moistens oxygen for breathing. It's essential for our senses to work properly, and it's the main property of blood, which carries nutrients to cells and carries waste out of our bodies. And it's one of the 6 nutrients that are essential for life. Those 6 nutrients are water, fat, protein, carbohydrates, vitamins, protein, and minerals.
That's right. And I have some problems with my joints, and even water helps lubricate your joints. So that you can see there's just an array of different things that the water plays in your human body.
How much water do you need, Karen?
That really varies because every day you lose water from your body, and it could be through your breathing, it can be through perspiration, it can be through your urine and bowel movements. And for your body to function properly, as you had indicated, we definitely need to have water, and it must replenish its supply of water by consuming beverages and foods that contain water. So it's not only the water that you drink, but it's also the kinds of foods that you drink, as we'll get into that. So it's really important. And the other thing I think you hear about, 8 glasses of water is what you should have a day. Well, so how much fluid do you really need depends on your living temperament climate. I mean, we're going into, like I said, summer where you're going to be perspiring more. And the United States National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine actually determined that an adequate daily fluid intake is about 15.5 cups of fluids a day for men, and about 11.5 cups of fluids per day for women. So you can see that's above 8 cups. And a lot of it's going to depend on your stature, your body, your weight, those kinds of things, your environment, as we talked about. And again, these are recommendations that cover fluids from water there's other beverages and foods out there, which we will talk about. About 20% of the daily fluid intake usually comes from food and the rest of from other kinds of drinks. So that gives you an idea, but it's a lot, and a lot of times people don't consume that amount.
I read somewhere in the research that is 2 to 3 liters of water that we had to replace a day.
Yeah, and if we're not drinking, think of that's how you become dehydrated, so to speak. So yeah, it's important that we do definitely hydrate ourselves. You know, we talked about how important water is, and I think we need to make sure that people understand the potential dangers of not drinking enough water or becoming dehydrated. So, like we said, the optimal function, your body needs to be hydrated to function at its best, and you know, your clear thinking, your food, everything. And if there isn't enough liquid in your body, your essential functions like your circulation even don't perform as smoothly as your organs need to. And so again, we have less efficiency performance. So to perform properly, we've got to have water, you know?
So with regards to mood, dehydration can affect your mood. If you haven't been drinking enough water, you can feel tired, cranky, or even irritable. You might even imagine that you're hungry when what your body is really craving is that water instead.
Yeah, that's kind of like being really productive during the day. And I know there's times when I just kind of get laggy and I think, okay, my mouth is dry. So I probably need to drink some water because hydration is also important for thinking clearly. And if you're dehydrated, your productivity may suffer. And by golly, by gosh, we're in the work scenario. So and when you're at work, you want to be productive, right? So it's important to remember that your body loses water all day, as you stated, and it should be replaced continually throughout the day. In other words, you don't chug this and then, okay, then at noon I chug another one. You know, you see, and we have an array of different bottles and water types here. And that's, you want to keep them with you all day long. So you do keep hydrated. So let's share with some tips, you know, on how to keep increasing your fluid.
So one tip is to drink a glass of water or juice first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and another one is to meet your body's needs, as we've said, and to prevent frequent urination problems, because a lot of times if we don't drink enough water, we have issues that way. So drinking regularly throughout the day rather than a couple big gulps, so to speak.
Constipation problems may be due to not drinking enough water. Our bodies need that water to balance the fiber intake that we have, so it helps get the waste out of our bodies. So
yeah, and you know that the fluids are more easily absorbed when they are cooler. And you know, I just took these out of the refrigerator, and they're probably anywhere from 40 to 60 degrees, and that's ideal for drinking water. So again, you think about that's going to help replenish, and it's going to be better for your body. So again, keeping that water cool, and keep maybe a 1 to 2 quart bottle of water in your refrigerator, and make sure that you drink and refill it. You know, you can bring this to work, but if you're not keeping it cool with some ice in it, those all things make a difference. So 40 to 60 degrees, that water ought to be.
yes. Another tip is whenever you pass a drinking fountain, take a moment and stop and get a drink just to rehydrate.
You know, one of the things here in Marshall County that's been really a positive is our county government replaced our water drinking and fountains. And so basically there are a fountain that filters the water, and you can take one of your jugs or your glasses here and put it underneath the filtration system and get filtered water. And I've noticed a lot more people carrying those kinds of containers and filling it up because it's good cold filtered water.
Another thing is to use color of your urine as a guide. Use the color of your urine as a guide for how well you are hydrated. So if you urinate regularly and your urine's a light yellow color, you're drinking enough water. However, if it's a dark yellow, it means you're becoming dehydrated and you need to intake more fluids.
You know, I used that rule when I was raising my two sons, and I think, you know, that because they always got busy with playing and they wouldn't drink. And I notice now my grandchild, you know, they've got water in front of her all the time, and that's a positive factor. So making sure kids stop and take a drink is important, as well as adults. So carry a water bottle with you and drink regularly between your meals. And that's why, I mean, there's all kinds of things out there. I stopped at the filling station this morning to pick up a couple examples. And at that convenience store, they told me that they now basically stock more water than they do soda drinks because of the fact that people just want different kinds of varieties of drinks.
Allergy sufferers and people taking medications should try to meet the fluid goals that we've discussed previously. Our kidneys and liver need that extra water to process medications that we're taking too. So,
you know, and I'm one of those individuals. I take medications, I have allergy problems, and the issues is that I need to drink more water. And I can tell when I do drink a lot of water, when I take my medications, I don't get that necessarily feeling from my liver like I would otherwise. Otherwise, sometimes you do get internally some feelings when you take too much medicine without water.
Another thing to remember is to take and drink 1 to 2 cups of water before you exercise, at least 30 minutes before you exercise. And then to drink a half cup to a cup of water at least 25 minutes intervals after you have exercise. Then within 2 hours after exercising, drink enough water to replace that fluid that you lost due to the perspiring and sweating during your wet workout period. For example, 2 cups for each pound lost. So if you lost the pound by working out, drink 2 cups of water to replace that fluid that you lost.
You know, there's a lot of people going into sports and things like that that really do adhere to that, and that's extremely important. I think the biggest thing is just drink when you get thirsty. You know what I mean? Thirst is a sign that your body is already dehydrated. So you want to make sure you keep drinking regularly throughout the day. Even after your thirst is quenched, make sure you got that fluid in front of you.
So Karen, is water the only option for staying hydrated?
No, it's not. You don't really want to rely only on water to meet your fluid needs. What you eat also provides a significant portion. Eating a lot of fruits and vegetables also have lots of liquid in them. Even, you know, milk has a lot of liquid in it, water, so to speak. So when you think about these kinds of things, you know, we're going into summer again, like I say, watermelon, those kinds of things that have a lot of water content. Those are the kinds of things that you want to consume. Spinach, nobody thinks about spinach having a lot of water in it. It actually does have a lot of water in it. And so again, they're almost 100% water by weight. So when you think about those kinds of things, you know, you may want to think about some other things. And we have actually, I think we've got a list here of some foods that we might just talk about that are high in water. So I think there's about 15 different items. So let's pull up that handout. And the number one, which most people don't understand, is cucumbers. They are actually 96% water. So if you love the crunch of a cucumber, you're in luck. I mean, cucumbers have the highest water content of any solid food.
And then iceberg lettuce also has like 96% water. Darker greens do provide more fiber and vitamin K. But when it comes to staying hydrated, crispy iceberg has the goods there. So it does have a lot of water in it. Again, 96%.
And followed up is celery by 95%. So in addition to being full of water, celery is a great source of fiber, and some protein-rich nut butters might be the center what you put on your celery. Again, you're getting protein plus you know, some water from that celery. So it adds to the thirst quenching snack.
Number 4 is radishes at 95%. This root veggie is full of flavor, vitamin C, and fiber, but it's low in calories. If you add them to a green salad or grate them into a summer slaw, it's another way you could get those radishes and get that intake of fluid that we need.
Well, in our house, we eat a lot of romaine lettuce, and I'm glad because it's got 95% of it being water. It's a leafy green that has a lot of water, but it also provides many nutritional benefits. It's a very good source of vitamin C and A. folate, and fiber. So you're getting, when you eat foods like fruits and vegetables, you're getting more nutrients than just what you would in water. The next one is tomatoes. I don't know anybody that doesn't like a tomato, and it has 94% of it being liquid, being water. And many people think of tomatoes as vegetables. They're actually a fruit with the highest water content being the fruit category. And they also contain lycopene, which helps prevent cell damage. And actually, when we talk about lycopene is more absorbed into the body when it's in its cooked form. So like spaghetti sauces or marinaras and things like that. Actually, your body absorbs that lycopene. So if you're talking about someone who's gone through maybe chemo or things like that, and they need to help prevent any more cell damage, especially cancer patients, tomatoes are great in the cooked form.
Number 7, zucchini and summer squash at 94%. Whether you eat summer squash cooked or raw, it provides the same amount of water. So that's good to know. Don't be afraid to throw some zucchini on the grill next to your turkey burger. So then you're getting some additional water that way.
You know, it's springtime here in Indiana. Well, maybe it is. I'm not sure with the weather, but asparagus is coming up on these warm days, and it's got 92% content of water. But its water content is the same whether you eat it raw or cooked. And I like to put it on the grill. I mean, that's why we eat asparagus. So with that, knowing that it's going to be in the grocery stores, that's a good option to consume.
Bell peppers are 90% water. All shades of the bell peppers will quench your thirst, but green ones lead the pack in water content. As a bonus, bell peppers are also high in antioxidants.
And then we have cabbage, and a lot of people don't think there's much water in cabbage, but there's actually 92%. All common varieties of cabbage contain a lot of water, raw, and even more when they're cooked. And that actually increases because you're cooking them in water to 94%. And some of these cabbages, such as Chinese cabbage or bok choy, they're actually 96% water and taste really good in tossed salads and things like that. Lots of ways you can cook them. And then we have cauliflower, and cauliflower is one you probably don't think about either in regards to a high water content. So if you love rice cauliflower but don't like to eat it raw, you're in luck, because cooked cauliflower, like cabbage, provides even more water content, about 93%, than eating it raw.
Mushrooms, which I didn't know, have 90% water, 2% of water. The health benefits of mushrooms are impressive, but to get the most water from your shrooms, eat them raw. So again, if you eat them raw, you get 92% water.
You know, I talked about spinach before, and it has 92% being water content, and it's a great summer staple for salads and smoothies. And in addition to its high water content, it's packed with nutrition, including calcium, magnesium, iron, and potassium. So these are really key micronutrients when we're talking about depletion and dehydration. You want to replenish. So a good spinach salad would be a great idea to have in the summertime.
Another great idea is strawberries. And when you're hot and sweaty, they provide 92% water content. They're low in calories, but high in water, fiber, and vitamin C.
And then we talked about watermelon a little bit ago, and it too has 92%. And it's no surprise when you think about when you bite into watermelon and how much it will hydrate you. But like tomatoes and other red fruits and veggies, it's also a great source of lycopene as well. And I think the thing is we talked about a lot of these fruits and vegetables that are at least 90% or higher in water content. And we've talked about how much water you should consume. I want to make sure that everyone realizes if you have questions about how much water you should be getting, the first person you need to reach out to is your primary care physician. They have the right answers for you. So as we look at all of these, we talked about the foods, but you'll notice here on display that I have a couple other items here. And I think it's important that we talk about the waters that you're seeing in the grocery store, so to speak, or the convenience store. So if you're talking about how do I know if I'm drinking enough water? Well, if you rarely feel thirsty, you're probably drinking enough. And as you said, if your urine is a darker color, then you need to drink more. And as we go into summer, I know last summer, my husband became very dehydrated. So I went to a pharmacist and I asked him, what are some of the things that I need to make sure that I have on hand? And he said, just have a simple bottle of water and then look for, they're called hydration multipliers. They are electrolyte drink mix. And so they are actually in little packets. I can open this up and show you. And you would just add this to the bottle of water and you get your electrolytes right then and there. So you can find these. I found them at the major grocery store, but the pharmacist was at that grocery store, but I've seen them at other, pharmacies as well. So I think this is something to have on hand. And that way you can put it in your pocket if you feel like you need a drink. Some of the other things that I found when I was doing some research on this, and I'll set that back, is a couple of the newer things that we have out here. And again, these are, ready to go at your convenience store. And I find that it's very interesting. This was, I'll start with this one. Its bottle is made from 100% recyclable plastic. So that's a good thing. Not that it's going to make a difference with the water, but the thing is it is perfectly balanced pH purified water. It has electrolytes and minerals for taste. And so again, look at what some of these things contain. And I think, this has come highly recommended in one of the research studies that I looked at. And again, this is another brand. There's all kinds of brands out there. The interesting thing that I found was this is perfectly balanced, purified water. This was vapor distilled water and electrolytes for taste, purely balanced pH. I want to know more about this vapor distilled water process. So I'm going to do some research on that. But I thought, the marketing on some of these things, if you look at this, if you like things that are simple, smart water kind of gives you an idea. But this is the core hydration. Which one do you think you'd pick if you were buying?
Probably the core.
Probably the core. And that's the most expensive. You got good taste. So I think it was just under $6 for these two bottles. So it's not cheap. This is not cheap. And that's why I think, and this was not inexpensive either. The fact of the matter is this is kind of on the spot. You can take it and go whenever you need it, where you have to have that, already done. There's all kinds of containers. You want to talk about that?
I was going to ask you to tell us about the infusion, because you said your granddaughter did a program on infusing water.
Yeah, and actually we've got a video clip. So if you're interested in it, we can show that as well. And really what you do is you just put your fruit in this, chop it up. I think she did strawberries, pineapple, I forget, grapes maybe. And this is a good one for like lime and cucumbers, things like that, if you want that. And then you fill your water, put this in, fill your water. And I usually like to leave it set overnight. And it's infused by the next morning. It's a great way, especially if you don't want, you want some sweetness, but without the sugar. That's all natural sugar that's going in. A lot of people are concerned about that next item is stainless steel, so they don't like the plastics. You can get those. And then the other one obviously holds a lot. And I like that one because it doesn't sweat. It's got a container inside a container. And so a lot of times you set these things down and then there's water all over type of thing. Hopefully you're drinking them fast enough. You don't have that problem. But yeah, there's an array of all kinds of things out there. But I think the main thing is that you stay hydrated, whether it's this simple way, this way, or just drinking, water.
Well, thanks, Karen. I appreciate you coming in and helping me with this and presenting this with me for the Kosciusko County employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Karen Richey, and I work for Purdue Extension in Marshall County. And it is my pleasure today to have Dallas Richey, my granddaughter, with me. Today we're going to talk about infused water. It's important that you drink water all year long, but more importantly, as we go into the summer months, that you really drink lots of water. So Dallas is here to show you how easy it is. Dallas?
Hello everybody, my name is Dallas Richey, and I'm here to help you make infused water. Now, adults probably know how to make this, but if kids would like to know how, here the video is. The first step that I did was to wash my hands. You always do this before you touch any of your food to get all the germs and bacteria off your hands. Then I washed all my fruits, as you can see, and made sure there's no germs and bacteria on the fruit. Now, I have my bottle for the infused fruit, and I have my fruits. Here are some bananas, oranges, blueberries, apples, and strawberries and grapes. Now, you don't have to use these ingredients. You can use limes and lemons and cucumbers or whatever you prefer. Now, let's get started. I have my water bottle here, and I will take out the tube that the fruit is being held in. And some water bottles are different, it does not matter, but this is just the one that I have today. So I'm going to use tongs and put in some bananas, some strawberries, and some apples. That's probably good enough. Now, I will screw it back on tightly and put it in your infused bottle. Now I will put the water in. I would suggest putting it over a cloth or paper towel so if it does drip out, it's okay. Just a suggestion, I would say put the fruit in first before you do the water so that the fruit does not overflow. Now, I will put the cap back on. And here is your infused water. Now, like I said, you can use any ingredients you like. But this is just what I happen to have today. I'm going to make another one just in case you didn't catch it. But another thing that I saw was all the particles in the water. When you make your infused water and you see all those particles, those are coming from the fruits. It's not bad, it won't hurt you, it actually is probably better for you. Now I'm just going to make another infused water for Karen Richey. A little strawberry to top it off. And there we are. Now I'll put the water in. And there's our second bottle of infused water. Now, like I said, you can use any ingredients. I love cucumbers, and they don't have a lot of flavor. So, it's good for people that don't like a lot of tangy flavors like oranges and stuff. And like I said, the particles are not bad. They're probably better for you. So, here is your bottle of infused water.
Thank you, Dallas.
And here's mine. Cheers.